The headline you've just heard is, U.S. troops, seriously wounded in recent strikes, were flown to Germany for help. It's a story that underscores how quickly the war in the Middle East turns into a battlefield outside of the immediate theaters. Since early July, close to 100 American service members have suffered injuries from Iranian missile and drone attacks, and the Pentagon has confirmed that nearly a dozen of those were severely wounded enough to require a medical evacuation across the globe. Flight tracker sites logged Air Force C-17 medevacs from Jordan to Germany over the last weeks, meaning that wounded soldiers had to be flown out of the region for specialized care at U.S. military hospitals in Europe. The Defense Department said that most of those troops have already returned to duty. Detailed casualty figures were only made public after the New York Times reported on injuries from 4 separate attacks last week, one of which, on Friday, killed 3 soldiers and wounded several more. In total, a total of 18 U.S. service members have died since the war began on February 28, and about 550 have been wounded to date. The war has also taken a heavy toll on Iranian civilians, with at least 1,700 reported killed, according to a rights group focused on Iran. The Pentagon has been relatively quiet on strategy in the last 5 months of conflict, holding no major briefings since early May. When the U.S. Central Command responded to last week's airstrikes on Iranian military sites, it framed the action as retaliation for Iranian attacks on commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and did not mention the strikes on U.S. bases in Jordan or elsewhere. Because the military is not required to disclose details of injured, especially when they're expected to return to duty, some have accused the Pentagon of hiding casualties. The chief Pentagon spokesman, Sean Parnell, has defended the department, stating in a statement on Monday that there has been no concealment or misrepresentation of U.S. casualties. He later posted that the vast majority of the nearly 100 casualties since July 7 involved mild concussions, with 96% of those soldiers back to duty. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in a brief social media comment over the weekend, also said that the deaths of the troops in Jordan only intensified resolve. The fact that a dozen troops had to be flown out of Jordan for treatment in Germany reflects how rapidly serious injuries can spread beyond the front lines, and it highlights the logistical challenges the U.S. forces face in a conflict that's both distant and fiercely contested. While the larger picture of the U.S. engagement in the Middle East remains ambiguous, these details bring the human cost into sharper focus. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, and we'll keep you updated on any new developments in this evolving conflict.